Hello everyone, welcome to the Storyist. Today I will be sharing with you a story about a woman who called the cops on a black neighbor who was moving out, claiming he was a thief. What turned out afterwards was mind-blowing. Stay until the end of the video to know what happened. Tyrone is a very industrious boy. He used to live with his family in their own house at the end of town. But he does not want to inconvenience his father to drive him to school every day, as he also has his own work to go to. So when he turned 18, he immediately moved out from his parents' house and started renting a small room just near his school. During his break time, he studies for his subjects, and during the night, he stays up until midnight to serve a small diner just below his apartment building. He works part-time to support his school needs as well. Tyrone is never really a poor guy. His dad has a decent job while his mother bakes goodies and sells them to neighbors. His school tuition is also not a problem for him to provide at all, as his father makes decent money, added by the fact that he is an only child. Basically, Tyrone is not raised from a poor household. But despite this fact, he still does not want to burden his parents with the other things he needs from school, such as his allowance and money needed for school projects. So he moves out of their family home. He has also decided to work part-time as well so he can earn extra income for his personal needs. Tyrone is very good, not only at his school, but also at his job. Just shortly after he moved into the apartment building, everybody already loved him as a neighbor. Even though he is black, the other tenants treat him with respect, as he is one of the nicest boys inside the apartment building. He often helps people moving out or moving in. He says hi to literally everyone in their building, and he knows every single one of them by name. Sometimes he is also kind enough to bring coffee to his favorite neighbors. At his work, every single customer also loves him to bits. They all see him as charming and a very nice boy. He never enters the diner with a flat expression. He always makes sure that he is smiling the moment he enters the diner to work, during the time when he serves his customers, new ones or his regulars, and he makes sure that he gets out of his shift with a huge smile too. Because of this, people at the diner fancy him for his big smile and sometimes dub him as Mr. Smiley Face. He loves having everyone like him, and even though there are nights that he doesn't have a single hour of sleep due to his hectic schedules, he still manages to smile and serve his customers well. Not all days are rainbows and sunshine, though. There are customers that are grumpy and feeling blue the moment they enter the diner. But Tyrone has his intense charm that converts all their negative feelings into pleasant ones. The same goes for Tyrone in his school and apartment building. He is just the guy everyone wants to interact with whenever they are sad. However, there is this one specific woman who hates his guts. Her name is Karen, and she expresses her disdain with Tyrone every day. She lives just beside Tyrone's room in the apartment building, and Tyrone has been suffering from all her harsh words every single day from the moment that he moved in. He radiates off these positive vibes, but it never worked on Karen even once. Every time Karen sees him, she shoots him a sharp look and acts disgusted, even though Tyrone is not doing anything yet. She just hates the fact that a black boy is living inside their neighborhood. One night, Tyrone went home to study alone in his room. However, his group mates said they would come over so they could work on their project personally instead of through messaging. About 5 more students went into Tyrone's room, but they were very careful not to make a loud sound, as he warned them that Karen would be outrageous. However, as Karen goes home and searches for her keys inside her tote bag, she sees a bunch of slippers outside Tyrone's door. She knows too well that Tyrone does not have a lot of friends coming over, so she already knew that the slippers are not his. She immediately calls the landlord of the apartment building to ask them to leave. Tyrone and his friends hear a loud knock on their door. When Tyrone gets up to see who it is, He is surprised to see the building landlord and Karen by his side. Karen gives him an evil look, like a plan that went smoothly on her side. The landlord asks Tyrone what he and his friends are doing. When Tyrone shows him that they are just writing a school project quietly, the landlord believes immediately, as he knows Tyrone is not that type of kid who would cause any trouble. "Sorry, Karen. These kids are just trying to study quietly. You better get inside," the building landlord tells Karen. Baffled, Karen tries to reason with the landlord. But the landlord knows that Karen just wants Tyrone to get into trouble because she hates the fact that her next-door neighbor is a black boy. A week after the incident, Karen purposely plays loud music inside her apartment during the time that she knows Tyrone is studying. Tyrone gets a hard time studying because of this. But instead of telling Karen about this or even saying anything to the landlord, Tyrone just gets out of his room and goes to the library to study peacefully. This event continues on for many more days and even weeks. Karen will play loud music whenever he is asleep or studying. She will roll her eyes whenever they see each other in the hallway, and she will start negative rumors about Tyrone around the building that no one believes because everybody in the apartment complex loves Tyrone. But even though Tyrone is not talking about it, nor is he confronting Karen about her wrongdoings, he gets offended every time, until Karen pulled her last straw and he decided he can't live in the same building anymore. Tyrone talks to the landlord, telling him that he needs to find a new place. The landlord immediately realizes that the reason must be Karen, and because everybody in the building loves him so much, the landlord assures Tyrone that he can ask Karen to leave instead. But Tyrone does not want to inconvenience Karen because of him, so he says that he will be the one to leave. On the night of Tyrone's moving out, Karen hears loud thuds inside his room. When she checks, she sees movers inside Tyrone's place. She sees a small chair being moved out that looks exactly similar to hers. She immediately calls the cops and reports them of thievery inside her apartment complex. When the cop came, Karen was disappointed. The cop is black, and she immediately believes that the judgment will be biased. She tells the black cop that Tyrone is stealing her chair. But when the black cop enters Tyrone's apartment room, they are both surprised. "Dad, what are you doing here?" asks Tyrone to the cop. The cop explains to him that Karen next door reported him for stealing her chair. Confused, Tyrone admits to his dad that Karen is the main reason why he is leaving that almost perfect neighborhood. She bullies him because of his color and race. Enraged, the black cop knocks on Karen's door and demands to see if she still has the chair that she claims to be stolen. Karen is tough enough to conceal her identical chair, sitting at the back of her door.
"Excuse me, are you saying that I'm the wrong one here? You must be siding with him because you are black too,"
Karen exclaims. Little does she know, the other tenants in the building are on their way to Tyrone's apartment to help him move things.
"You black people should not be inside this building. I'm going to call real cops," she continues.
By this time, all the other tenants who came to help are already behind her back. They are so shocked to hear every bit of word from Karen, especially that she is saying them to Tyrone. They pity Tyrone and his cop father for having to put up with Karen's attitude. "Karen," says one of the tenants softly, "you should leave the apartment as soon as possible," he says. Karen is surprised to hear these words. Her neighbors are siding with Tyrone, and she hates it. She tells them that Tyrone does not belong in the building, but then the landlord comes and asks Karen to leave instead of Tyrone. Tyrone is grateful to his co-tenants, but they tell him that's the least we can do to reciprocate your kindness. Tyrone continues to live in the apartment, and he never heard of Karen ever again. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you in the next.